Hello, Uncommon. I'm your boy TJ, and today's session is about uncommon moments. So, welcome. This is Uncommon, and so are you. If you're like the planet, you're maybe home from work, whether you're out of school, home from work, working, out of work for a couple of weeks, this unintended vacation. This we wanted to step into and see if we can use this time wisely. So we did an extra Uncommon Live this week, one today in our usual slot on Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern. I figured this week we were talking about leaders, so it'd be a great time to talk about uncommon moments. And since we have what looks like an abundance amount of time at home these days, giving people some direction and some suggestions of what to do while they're home seem to be a great thing, because I know a few nervous Nellies who cannot stop wanting to go places. And so here's a couple of updates or a couple of suggestions today that may help focus some of that nervous Nelly energy. So before we get started, a little housekeeping. If you're new to the show, it is a weekly session focusing on husbands, dads, and leaders. And also we do some miscellaneous topics like this one. If you have not been to our social, please check it out, because this week we are voting on the next uncommon t-shirt design. There are, I think, 4 up there to choose from. And so you can like or do the happy face or the wow. That's how you would vote for that particular design. We're going to be making the announcement, the winner of that design, this Thursday. So get your votes in today and tomorrow as well. Finally, something worthwhile voting for, right? The other thing is our membership. We just released a few new benefits to our membership program, a permanent 10% off, as well as our most recent Uncommon Original called Men Under Construction. And so be sure to check that out. If you are not familiar with our membership program, it is $25 a year. Hardly a burden to anyone's wallet. It is a great way to support Uncommon, and very, very affordable considering all the things you do get. Okay, so I hit my guys up early yesterday. Some were still wiping the sleep from their eyes. They're used to getting the question on Tuesday. They lounge around the house in their PJs and shuffle around their front yard while they think about great answers. And then they give me their feedback. Well, this time, I caught them off guard and said, all right, guys, I need your input early. So this week's uncommon question of the week was, how are you planning to invest the extra time you have in your family for the next couple of weeks, maybe even a month or two? So I'm going to break these up since we have a 2-part series this week alone. One of these, some of these input is going to be around our part 1, and another one's going to be around part 2. Because this week we're focusing on uncommon moments for the family, right? So a couple of the feedbacks were we're getting in more family movies and game nights. We'll probably do some yard work and take some small day trips. The last one is spend some time communicating about going through a crisis and how to keep our focus on Jesus. Really good stuff, something to start thinking about of what can you do with the time we have right now. If you think about it, we're always like, oh, I'm way too busy. I can't do this. I can't do that. I am way too busy. Guess what? Corona just stepped in and gave you, whether you wanted or not, a big old break in your routine. So let's take advantage of this time, this extra time that we say we never have. We actually do have it. We just spend it in front of TVs, in front of our laptops or phones, or doing things we probably do too much of. But this one may be something that we can step into and utilize wisely. Our first one, remember, this will be focusing on family. Our first one is communication. Maybe you can work on communicating with each other. And that sounds real basic, but you'd be surprised at how many people cannot communicate worth a damn to each other. Maybe you just sit on the couch or at the table and just talk about whatever comes up. You'd be surprised at what great communication you could have over a dinner table instead of staring at your phones or watching TV while you ate. Turn that all off. Spend some time focusing on the topic that your family may want to talk about. Be sure to cover this crazy coronavirus. Help set some expectation. Your children may be concerned as to how this is going to impact the family as well as them. They may have just been brought out of school for the next 2-3 weeks or maybe a month or two. They may have been sent home from their job, unsure about what they're going to do for pay. So it's important for you to talk about the topics that are on everybody's mind and heart. This is a great time for it. A deep clean. I know you're thinking naps. I'm always thinking naps, but a deep clean. So my wife and I basically scrubbed the house down this past week and just did all the things that we probably were going to do around spring, or at least I said I was going to do around spring. And so we did that this weekend, and we'll probably do some more over this next couple of days and weeks ahead. Clean the house in areas that you usually don't. Doorknobs, light switches, the stair rail, tables, remotes. Wash all your silverware. Some that don't get out of the drawer all the time. Wash some of this stuff. Things that you normally don't do might be a good time to do that. Not only it makes it clean, probably make you feel a little less nervous with all the germs out there. A Bible study. Spend some time doing a family devotional. There are tons out there to choose from, and there's nothing better to calm your soul and those nerves than reading that God is still in control. It is a great place to start, and we should start that daily. But if there was ever time that the nation could unbunch their panties a little bit and stop buying toilet paper by the truckload, it would be now. So spend some time doing a study, a devotion. Maybe make it like a 14-day or a 30-day devotion that may go through this like 2 or 3 week quarantine, but out of it as well. So that way it might start a good habit of doing a study with each other. Supplies. Have a conversation with everyone about supplies and how to only use what they need. Waste not, want not is a classic here. If you tend to be a little bit out of control with, pouring milk in the cereal or Kleenex like crazy or whatever, now's a good time to maybe evaluate, hey, we can't get to the store and buy some replacement for this. Let's focus on a little bit of rationing. Games. You may have a ton of board games that you used to play and haven't done recently. It may be time to dust off the old board games and spend some time over a game of Uno or maybe even Sorry. Notice I didn't say Monopoly. I think the world is in enough pain already to bring out Monopoly and cause worldwide havoc. I'm just kidding. We play Monopoly and have a great time with it, but some families, man, they get together and play Monopoly and it's like Hatfields and McCoys. So find a game that you like, that your family likes, like sequins, dominoes, chess, checkers, whatever it is, Trivial Pursuit for your old school out there. Enjoy this time over doing some things that would generate some great conversations. Build some memories during this time. Movies. Pick out some family movies. Since many of us stream from our home, we have a ton of access to material. Things like Facing the Giants is a great movie. Remember the Titans, The Princess Bride, E.T., Wizard of Oz. All these things, and it just obviously there's thousands and tens of thousands of movies out there. Pick some that may be some old favorites, some classics, some new things, but limit the time. Don't just fill this time off with watching 12 and 14 hours a day of whatever series that you like. Spend some time as a family. Discuss, hey, tonight little Johnny's going to pick out the movie. And the next night, Mom's going to pick out the movie. And then we can all enjoy our own picks as a family. Let's see, I got a couple more for you. Activities. We just heard this. We were doing our study this past weekend, and it was a great idea of going for a prayer walk around your neighborhood. Since maybe you cannot get out to go to your favorite hangout, whether it be a coffee shop or, shudder to think about it, the mall. But this, you could walk around your neighborhood, keep your social distance of 6 feet apart, and pray for your neighborhood. You could just pray for the virus not affecting neighbors, and if you see someone outside, pray for that family. Just enjoy the walk, give it a purpose. Maybe even do a puzzle. Take care of a few repairs around the house. That honey-do list that never ends, you may be able to whittle it down a little bit. My in-laws, they love painting, like painting rooms. It's not on my top 10 list, but now may be a good time to paint a room. Clean the attic. My wife and I have been working on cleaning our attic once a weekend. We spend about 2 hours pulling some things out, processing it, bring it to Goodwill or throw it in trash, just kind of working through that process. So, and obviously do the attic now before it gets too hot, because spring is springing, and so pretty soon it's going to be hot in that attic. And the last one I have for you is teach. Here's a good opportunity to do something for your kids that they don't get in school. Teach them something they cannot learn outside of you and your wife. Teach them how to cook something. It doesn't matter what it is. Make it taco night. Have them involved with the process. Teach them how to cook something, whether it be hot dogs or making a pizza or a salad or whatever it is. If you have sons who enjoy this kind of thing, teach them how to change a tire. You'd be surprised of how many people do not know how to change a tire on their own vehicle. If it wasn't for AAA or calling for an Uber to take them home to mom and dad's house, they'd be stuck on the side of the road. Teach them how to change a tire. Teach them how to do laundry. Amen. Can I get an amen out there? Teach your kids how to do some laundry. It's a win-win for everybody. Moms, daughters, even guys, hey, learn how to sew a button on a shirt. This is kind of a skill that has faded away over time. Learn how to sew some basic things. Here's one: make a budget. These are things that our kids do not learn in school. It's shocking that they come out of school, they can't do their taxes, they don't know how to balance their checkbook, they don't know how to do a budget. A lot of the things that maybe we grew up having to learn or learning from our parents or school, like in home ec or in shop, are not there anymore. So make a budget. Go over maybe what you and your wife do, or help them make a budget, and then give them a little bit of money to start that savings account or start saving. So you can see there are tons of things you could do during this period. You could choose to waste the time, or you could choose to invest in your family. That's why it's called uncommon moments, right? Here's some don't do this in the off season, or this break. Bad habits are easy to start and they are hard to stop. Don't just lay around the house. Yes, you may not have to get up to go to school anymore. There's no reason to sleep till 12 o'clock every day. That is going to be hard to get back out of and get into your normal routine. Plus, you miss so much of the day. There's no need to sleep from 1 in the morning till noon. You should be maybe going to bed at a decent time and waking up at a decent time. That way you can enjoy and do things that's productive. Don't eat out of boredom. This is something that people do unconsciously. They get bored, they're sitting around, like grab a bag of chips, and next thing you know, the bag of chips are gone. Don't watch 12 hours of TV a day. Monitor that so that you can make this time as beneficial as possible, because I guarantee you we're going to get through this, and then one day somebody's going to say, oh, can you do this? Oh, I'm so busy. Or, oh, did you get this done? No, I sure didn't. This is some time we could take advantage of and do things we usually can't do. Don't go places you don't need to go. Now, this is for when you get ants in your pants. Don't leave the house just to go mill around the mall, or just see what's happening at the local coffee shop. You can see that they're trying to get people not to do this. Staying at home helps reduce or lower that curve and less exposure, right? And the last thing, 40 plus years growing up in New Orleans, of hurricane season being between June and November. Any good Cajun knows that, right? June to November. Multiple hurricanes. We were forced out of New Orleans because of Katrina. I'm intimately familiar with hurricanes. I've never seen a run on toilet paper in my life like this. Food, yes. Maybe it's because Cajuns shop differently in times of crisis. They go buy as much boudin as they can. Is the crawfish still hot? That kind of stuff. But don't hoard toilet paper. If you need 45 rolls of toilet paper to get through the next 2 weeks, you may have something far worse than the coronavirus. And you should go see your doctor immediately, because you do not need that many packs and packs and packs of toilet paper. All it does is it takes away from people who actually are looking for that. We've heard a story about an elderly gentleman who his wife couldn't even get out of the car. She was on oxygen. He had to go in there with his walker to try to find toilet paper and could not find it, only to go back to the car and try to move on to the next location. So remember, you do not need to panic buy. Please stop that. Luckily, we've seen local establishments here setting limits on purchases. Thank God, because people buy just out of fear. And so those are some don'ts. Okay, so we have a couple of articles for you here. It's funny that when we do these miscellaneous pieces, I'm never thinking I'm gonna pick a topic that we have articles on. That's really not sure how it should be. If our audience is looking for something, or I think it's going to inspire or encourage, I just do that. And then I say, well, gee, I wonder if we have any articles on that. So far, we have. So this week, this session, I have 3 articles for you. One is check in when you could check out, caring for your family. So this is a great article. I think it's timely. When we wrote this, obviously we're inspired because of something was going on then as well. This next one is called Family Business is Serious Business. That seems like it's a tattoo waiting to happen someplace. And the last one is How to Handle Your Responsibilities as a Father. That's always a great refresher course of what have we been called to do? And men, now's a good time to show off, right? Not show off like go, oil yourself down and go stand in the middle of the street with your big American flag back and forth. No, now's a good time to lead your family. Lead your family well. So another one is, and I used this one last week. I thought it was a good one for this week as well. It was change being a man for all seasons. And so while sometimes it is easy to be on the path when everything's going well, when things look like they're spinning out of control, it's more difficult to find those leaders that step up and say, okay, let's calm down. Let's calm down. Remember who's still in control. Let's focus our eyes on Jesus. Nothing is out of his control about this, even though the media makes it look like it's Armageddon. So I hope some of this content resonates and helps. There are lists like this all over the place. We wanted to do something a little different for Uncommon. And so this week, or this session, our part 1 is about family. Our part 2 is going to focus more on personally. Men, we're going to be talking about what you could do personally during this time off. So as we do with, we end all of our sessions, it is, if you've ever been blessed by Uncommon, if you find these weekly sessions beneficial and challenging to you, please start praying about how you could help and support Uncommon, whether it be ongoing giving is what we're looking for this year. We're trying to add 7 more people with a monthly gift. It doesn't matter what it is, $5 a month, $50 a month, whatever the Lord puts on your heart. If you can't do that, then pray for the ministry. Help us on social media to share and comment. Be sure to go comment on that voting piece. That's going to be done in the next 2 days. Sign up for our newsletter at uncommon.org. And obviously, we're on social media in a lot of different ways, whether it be Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. So I hope I caught more people at home that in between naps or in between coffee breaks during their at-home work sessions, and this is going to resonate with someone. So hope you guys have a great day. Be safe. Wash your hands. Get your Purell. Get all the things you need, but then stay at home and invest into your family and in your walk. So since you're going to be something, be uncommon.